Hi everyone, I'm Carey Pena, and this is a Mindful Moment. Joining us from Los Angeles is Emmy-winning television host Samantha Harris, and you are also a certified health coach. The work you are doing is just transformational. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I really am so glad to be here talking to you and your entire audience.
Samantha, talk a little bit about your journey with breast cancer.
Well, I was just about to turn 40 when I had a clear mammogram, and 11 days later, I found a lump, and I was blindsided by a breast cancer diagnosis, but it didn't come easily because I went to see a doctor and then another, and I had both of them tell me that the lump was nothing. And I really needed to listen to my inner voice and that gut feeling that said, hey, they just felt it in a clinical exam. Let's make sure it really is nothing. And so after 4 months of all these no, it's nothing answers, I finally found myself at a surgical oncologist office who also didn't think it was cancer. None of the tests detected the cancer, not the needle biopsy or the ultrasounds, but she suggested we take it out. And after that lumpectomy, we found out that it was not only ductal carcinoma in situ, which is contained within the breast, but we also found that it was invasive stage 2 breast cancer and it had gone to a lymph node.
What was your recovery journey like?
Well, the whole journey from figuring out sort of the cancerversity, we call it, where we're just this constant information coming at us. It's so overwhelming, trying to figure out what sort of course of treatment and surgery to undergo, to then what I ended up happening in 2014. I had 3 surgeries, a lumpectomy, mastectomy, and second stage reconstruction. So the recoveries were intense. They meant that I was in bed for 3 weeks with not getting out of bed for more than 20 minutes every hour. And what I found, my daughters were just 3 and 6 at the time, is that, first of all, my brain is always going. So my fingers were going and I was creating and doing a lot on my computer because I'm a go, go, go person. I'm always on the move, both emotionally, but physically and physically active, which is probably the biggest challenge for me. And then I realized that of the 1 in 8 women who are diagnosed with invasive breast cancer over the course of her lifetime, only 5 to 10% of those are actually genetic. And I've been a national ambassador for Susan G. Komen for many years. I've been an advocate with Gateway for Cancer Research. And I was startled by this statistic and this information. And as a journalist, I began to research and I determined it is what we put in, on, and around our bodies, Carey, that affects our overall well-being, that turns on or leaves off certain DNA switches that can lead to cancer, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, all of these different chronic diseases that are plaguing us so much. And so I started to make systematic lifestyle changes and habit changes from me, from my family, and then sharing with others through, whether it's through my book, Your Healthiest Healthy, or my wellness retreats, or my private coaching group, or the courses I offer, so that I can help empower people to take even better control of their well-being.
Can you talk a little bit about the specific things that you implemented and why you think that those would be beneficial for folks, even as preventative mechanisms?
Well, they're huge preventatives.
Yeah.
I think that I wish I had known, right? It's everything, Carey, that I wish I had known before cancer, so that hopefully I had never had to deal with this diagnosis that I went through and that so many are going through. And that's the thing. We think that things just happen to us and that, well, you know what? I have diabetes in my family. I have cancer in my family. I'm just going to get it too. But the bottom line is that we have so much more control than we realize. So whether it came to my food, my makeup and skincare, how to get the toxins out of what's in, on, and around our bodies. So when it comes to food, for instance, I began to eat more of a plant-forward or plant-based foundation for my life. And it doesn't mean you have to be vegan or vegetarian, but and I'm not, by the way, but the bottom line is figuring out what works best for your body, your unique biology too, because we are all bio individuals. And also habits and lifestyle choices are also very individual. I'm not someone to get on a soapbox and say, this is what you have to do, start right now, like a lot of people and the gurus and experts in the business of wellness do. It's really about, here are a lot of tips that work well for everyone. Find the foundation that works for you and then veer from that path to figure out how you can implement these in your life. So when it comes to food, filling your plate half full of veggies at every meal, you end up increasing your phytonutrient and nutrient density a level, you also end up increasing your fiber, which most of us lack. And there's so many more that I could go into with food. When it comes to our makeup routine and our skincare, we have so many toxic ingredients, from endocrine disruptors that mess with our hormones to carcinogens and neurotoxins that are actually approved as ingredients by the FDA, because our country, unlike the European Union that bans over 1,400 substances as known carcinogens or possible carcinogens or neurotoxins, our US government only bans 30. And that's only recently. It was only 11 until a few years ago. So that means as consumers, we have to understand, well, what's in our products? What am I putting on my body every day? Whether it's your makeup or your skincare or your shampoo or even your cleaning supplies. So the more knowledge that we can develop. And the great thing is, even since I was diagnosed in 2014, so many more brands are available now that have clean, toxin-free options that work, that have staying power, that give us the results we want. And that's, of course, where people are sort of afraid, like, oh, I don't want to give up my beauty ball. Right? But we thankfully have so many great options. And for people who want more information or insight from me, I share a lot on, especially my Instagram, but also my Facebook. Both are at Samantha Harris TV, like television. But if you guys want, you're listening, DM me if you want my list of skincare, clean makeup, cleaning supplies, whatever it is. I have a list that I kind of keep. And every time I have a different TV show, I get like the hair and makeup team, and we're trying different brands. We're seeing what works, what doesn't. But I have very strict and stringent rules for what I'll allow on my own body and in my home or with my kids. So I know that they work and they're clean.
Well, I love your Instagram feed. I think you've done such a great job sharing your personal journey and the knowledge that you've gained. A lot of people might recognize you because you've had a really incredible career in television. What was that like emotionally for you when you knew that you were going to be sidelined, not knowing the outcome? TV is a tough business, and to get to the level that you were working at on national television, just emotionally, what was that like?
If there was ever a good time for cancer, it came at a good time for me. I had hosted Dancing with the Stars for 8 seasons, and that had ended. I was on Entertainment Tonight for many years, and Extra for basically every entertainment news show that there is. I was on it. I was a host, I was a correspondent. I was something on it. But came at a time actually where I wasn't on a current show. And so what I had to step away from, I do a lot of speaking engagements around the country on being your own best health advocate, about breast cancer prevention and awareness, about your healthiest healthy life and how to obtain that, whether it's talking to corporations or nonprofits. But so I really took a moment to step back from all of that. And this was before my wellness career of being an expert in the wellness world had even begun, because it was cancer that was that turning point. Yeah. Cancer pivoted the trajectory of my career, Carey, in a way that I never saw coming. And I realized that, TV, which I love, and I still do, was something that also caused a lot of stress, especially the shows, especially entertainment news, where you're on call 24/7, 365, and you don't have that ability to say no, because they kind of own your time. And that was what I went to Northwestern University. I majored in journalism. I really wanted to be in that business, but it also has a lot of stressors that come with it. So the ability to now take a moment, take a breath, choose whether or not a job that's coming my way is the right one for my lifestyle now, living my healthiest healthy life.
What do you want people to take away from your story?
Well, first, really important to be your own best health advocate, that we need to know our bodies very well, better than anyone else, including any doctor, which means we have to take care of ourselves. That self-care is selfless, not selfish. So treating your body right by how you're nourishing it, how you're mitigating stress, how you're sleeping, being mindful, and also that self-care of, exercise makes a difference, because we start to get in tune with what's happening in our body. And then also noticing changes. If something changes, whether it's, a mole or a freckle or something digestively that feels off, some bloating, something different, a pain somewhere, don't put your head in the sand. Instead, acknowledge it and seek out opinions. And not just one, but usually a second opinion or even a third can be very beneficial, as it was for me.
Samantha, thank you so much for spending some time with us. I love your energy, and I love that you've taken what could have been, a really difficult, well, I'm sure was a very difficult situation, but sometimes it's hard to move past that because it's very scarring going through that, going through cancer. I mean, you're obviously a very optimistic person, an upbeat person, but you've been through a really rough time. And the fact that you've taken that and you want to empower other people is something really special.
Thank you. Thank you. Cancer definitely knocked me down and gave me anxiety and overwhelm in a way I had never felt before, that it was almost crushing. And I had to make a concerted choice and effort to flip my perspective as everything came down the line during my cancer journey and learn how to turn it into something better.
Yeah, we appreciate you. And I hope I can come to one of your health retreats.
I would love it. We have ones in Santa Monica, California, Utah every year, which is the most magical and majestic. So we're looking forward to that end of October 2023, and then years beyond.
Samantha, thank you so much. You rock.
Thank you. Thank you. You too.